I've heard church fathers say that the only people who should not take Holy Communion are those who do not want to stop sinning. No, that's not true. Read the church fathers. Read the canons of the church. The only people who should not take Holy Communion are those who do not want to stop sinning. This is true. No, that's not true. There are presuppositions in the ascetic life, and they regulate how often we commune. And we prepare for Holy Communion. And when we don't prepare for Holy Communion, we don't approach Holy Communion. The ascetic struggle, the synergy has to be there for the grace of God in the mysteries to become effectual and assimilated by the human being. It's like prepare the garden for the seed. No, it doesn't matter. The seed, whatever, I'm just going to throw the seed in there, and well, it might be really hard. It might be like crusty. I'm just going to throw the seed and it'll work. It'll work out. No, it won't. You didn't prepare the groundwork. You didn't make proper preparation. So it's not just the will to, first of all, there are many people who struggle to not sin and they end up sinning. So it's not just their willfulness. I refuse to sin, to stop sinning. Yeah, obviously they're not going to commune. But there's more categories, more nuance. It's not just that, black and white. There's a whole spectrum of people and how much they're struggling. Sometimes we say we don't want to be separated from God, but we really do. We don't care because we continue to sin. We continue to, live a life. And I want to be with God. I want to be with God, but I don't have time for church. Yeah, no, you don't really want to be with God because that shows you're not putting him first. There's a hierarchy. You've got to sacrifice. Without sacrifice, there's no communion. There's no true communion in God. So it's not that simple, the way that the person presented it. There are other things that obstruct our frequent communion. And if we're not fasting, if we're not preparing in prayer, if we're not fasting, if we're married and we don't fast from sexual relations, 2, 3, 4 days, depending on your spiritual father's direction, before Holy Communion, we don't go to communion. So there's a variety of things that show the proper stance. Like you've got, besides just not wanting to sin, you've got to want and struggle and take steps to be virtuous, not just not wanting to sin, right? But wanting to be with Christ and sacrificing to be with Christ and putting the hierarchy of things in order so that you can be with Christ. Yeah, that sounds like a more simplistic and legalistic way of looking at I think if you read the church canons, it's not hard to see. There are people who've fallen into grave sins and they don't commune for years. They want to commune, but they're not blessed to commune according to the church canons because that's the part of their therapy. They grievously sinned, and the church says, okay, for the next X number of months or years or whatever it might be, you have this whole life that you're going to lead in the church except for communion because you're not prepared. If you go quickly to communion, you don't have the requisite purification and repentance, is not going to be profitable. So unfortunately, in our day and age, there's a lot of ignorance on these things.